What's poppin', y'all? It's your boy Cobb, aka Double Flamingo, aka the GOAT, aka back with another win after the long stall match that was last week. But this week shouldn't involve an stall because I'm going up against the Super Shy Sylveons, which are coached by Vicuna277, aka Octavio, aka the most notorious Joker in the league. It's all love, but most notorious Joker in the league. So the matchup this week, main things I have to worry about, he just picked up 3 bonds: Kyurem, Paldean Tauros Water, and Wo-Chien, which I think was an explicit counter-teaming of my team. I mean, they're good bonds, but all 3 of them kind of smack me up here. Kyurem is particularly threatening. Specs Freeze Dry. I have very few switch-ins to that. Water Tauros exploits my own rain and can close combat into my Ferrothorn, which is one of the most reliable walls. And then Wo-Chien is just a really good Spinef tank. It's one of the switches that he has to a potential Vascular Legion bring. Just very decent mons. And outside of that, on the rest of his team, he has Pult, which is faster than my entire team outside of my Swift Swimmers. He has Rotom Wash, which is a pretty decent defensive pivot. Can Volt switch around on most of my stuff, especially if I'm not bringing Swampert or Clodsire. And Amoonguss is just generally tanky. Comes in, takes nothing, switches out with Regenerator, gets a nice little pivot, puts something on my team to sleep. So very solid team. There's also Sylveon, but I don't think Sylveon's coming. I don't think Mega Scizor is coming. Oh, and I didn't mention Nidoking. Nidoking, with its great coverage, Sludge Wave plus Earth Power plus Flamethrower plus I guess Thunderbolt. If he guesses right at any given turn, he kills one of my Pokemon. So that's what Nidoking does. Great mon. So let's get into the team for this week. Start with Urshifu. Urshifu does general Urshifu things. He's rocking 319 speed to outrun timid Kyurem, which is important because it's like one of my few offensive checks to it with close combat. Close combat kind of puts most of his team into a pack. It's 2 KOs defensive Rotom. It 2 KOs basically everything on his team except for Amoonguss. So I just get to spam close combat again. Surging Strikes is good in the late game in case I need it to take out the Dragapult, in case I need to take out other stuff, because Surging Strikes 2 KOs Dragapult in rain. Aqua Jet is there in case I need chip on something last minute, so I can clean up with some of my other Swift Swimmers. It's Urshifu. He does Shifu things. Next up, we got Zapdos, running leftovers instead of heavy-duty boots because he doesn't have any real hazard support. His only hazards are Nidoking, and that's going to be running offensive anyways. I have Static in case the Zapdos comes, I have Static in case the Scizor comes, and also to sort of check the Tauros, because if he gets a Static Para on his Tauros, then Tauros dies to a Hurricane and a Thunder. Both of these mons are based on 100 speed, so I would have to speed tie at best if he's running Jolly, so I'm just timid with enough to outrun Kyurem again. This doesn't do enough damage to Kyurem on its own. I think Hurricane only does like 40 to 47 max, but it's meaningful chip. In case it comes down to an end game where I need to start clicking Shadow Balls. It's Zapdos. Hurricane Thunder, Volt Switch Roost. It's going to come in. It's going to do a little bit of damage. It's going to pivot around. It's just a generally nice mon to have. The carry this week, as per usual, shout out to not today's sponsor, Manscaped, Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn lacks a bit of offense this week. It's just got knockoff Leech Seed, Spikes, and Protect. But Spikes, with him having no hazard control, go really crazy here. Like, if I get enough Spike Chip on everything, then Amoonguss starts getting 2 KO'd by Spec Shadow Ball. Kyurem can't switch in that often. Nothing can really switch in on this, and like, he's gonna have to be pivoting around a lot in order to not instantly die to any of my like Swift Swim offense Pokemon. And Pharaoh's good at just getting chip. I'm running Max Pidef so that I can tank Kyurem. So if I switch in on a Specs Freeze Dry and then knock off and then Leech Seed, I always live that combination, especially when I mix in Protects. So Kyurem should be mostly neutralized as a threat as long as I can get this in safely and he doesn't like get too saucy with it. Ferrothorn is the glue mon that keeps me from losing, as per usual. I'm kind of carried by this mon. Next up, we got Pelipper setting up the rain, as per usual. Knockoff U-turn, Hurricane Roost. Don't have defog on this because I don't think I need it. It'd just be defogging away my own hazards, and Roost might be useful in case I want to, like, I don't know. Scizor's a bit of a problem, and I need this to get rid of Scizor for some reason. Hurricanes hit Amoonguss pretty hard, hit Wo-Chien pretty hard, hit Tauros pretty hard. This is my switch into non-wild charging Tauros. If it's banded, then I can switch this in on a Wave Crash. I can switch this in on close combat. Knockoff disrupts items. It's really, really good. Like, say he goes Kyurem hard on my Pelipper and gets his specs knocked off. That's really, really good. U-turn as a slow pivot is great. Hurricane's always Hurricane. And I'm running Max Fizdef to counter if he's running physical Dragapult for some reason or physical Kyurem for some reason. And it just hard counters Scizor. So that's Pelipper. Next up, we got the funny Calcfish. Choice specs, Basculegion female. Let's look at his team again. Let's look at the Shadow Ball switch-ins. 1, 2, maybe 3. But everyone else on this team gets kind of shamoned on by a spec Shadow Ball. So once I get enough chip with hazards and I get enough chip with the rest of the mons on my team, I can bring in Basculegion, have a decent amount of turns of rain, click Shadow Ball, everything dies. It's that simple, it's that easy. The speed investment is to outrun Scarfed. The speed investment is to outrun Scarfed Rotom Wash, and it's naturally faster than Pult with 448 under Swift Swim. It's also faster than Defensive Rotom if I am not in rain. Shadow Ball hits basically everything. Ice Beam is there to hit Amoonguss on the switch. Surf is just neutral ground when I want to get more damage and most of my water resists are dead, or most of his water resists are dead. So Basculegion is going to do a lot here. This defensive investment is originally I was just 120 health, but actually this always lives a Specs Draco Meteor from Dragapult. So an endgame could come down to him clicking Draco instead of Shadow Ball for whatever reason. And then me revenging it with the Shadow Ball of my own, which would be super funny if that happened. But last mon on my team, the GOAT, the team captain, Ludicolo. So, Ludicolo, I'm running Life Orb to get extra damage, Swift Swim as per usual, same speed on this as I had on Basculegion, just so I can get the little bit of chip on the, or I can kill the Rotom and I can be faster than the Dragapult. Running Ice Beam, Encore, Weather Ball, Giga Drain, so I can switch this in on Amoonguss Spore, Encore so he has to swap, or if he doesn't swap, then I just Ice Beam and then I kill him. And nothing on his team is really interested in taking a combination of Ice Beam, Weather Ball, and Giga Drain. Like, Giga Drain OHKOs most Rotoms. Weather Ball does massive damage against basically everything on his team because he doesn't have a water absorber, so something's taking a lot from water damage. And Ice Beam is there to hit Nidoking in the end game in case rain isn't up. It's there to hit Dragapult, it's there to hit Amoonguss, it's there to hit Wo-Chien. So this is my team. My general strategy for this week is going to be just get in rain, lead Pelipper, and then try and get a win with my Swift Swimmers. So yeah, that's the game. My match is going to be in about 5 hours, so I will see you guys then. Bye-bye. Okay, so this week I'm going to be doing my match post-commentary because I had stuff come up that stopped me from doing the game live. If you think this style is better, then sound off in the comments below. Next week I'm going to go back to doing live commentary with my games, but this week, just so I have the video to finish, I'm going to do post-commentary. So, this team, I was expecting Amoonguss over Wo-Chien, and I was expecting Nidoking over Sylveon, but I knew Wo-Chien was a pretty strong possibility because it forces progress versus my team with, like, Ruination and Knockoff and Leech Seed and stuff. So this isn't really too unexpected. Sylveon, I don't know why he brought it here. He said the reason is he wanted a good Spadef tank to switch into some of my special attackers, which is fair, because, like, but, like, Wo-Chien does that already, so I don't really understand what the point is. But anyways, let's get into the first turn. So I lead Pelipper, he leads Kyurem. Obviously trying to see, like, what my switch-in is. That's why he's named Switch-In. I can just go Ferrothorn here, like, every time, like, pretty freely. So do this. I see this damage, and I'm like, okay, this is definitely not choice specs. And if you have to turn finish, he doesn't proc a Life Orb or anything. So I'm like, okay, this, I don't know what item this is, but it isn't specs. So I was expecting, like, some sort of, like, maybe he Focus Blast me, but I know I'm not in range because, like, even specs Focus Blast does, like, 70 something max. But I'm confused as to what the set is, because I know that he's not Choice Specs, which is weird, because I'm like, Choice Specs Freeze Dry kind of kills my entire team. Like, without Choice Specs, you don't kill this usually. Later we'll find out what this is. But yeah, so switches out into Wo-Chien naturally. I get free knockoff, which would have let me know that that guy's item if he stayed in, but he doesn't. So that's good damage on this. I just protect to scout out the Ruination or the knockoff. I figured he was going to knock. He Ruinates instead. Ruination makes sense. And I switch out into Zapdos, figuring if he Ruinates, fine. If he knocks, fine. I don't need my lefties. So he does that. He goes into Sylveon. I Volt Switch out. Know that's Spadef, so go out into Urshifu, and I just claim my kill, because Urshifu gets a pretty free kill here with Surging Strikes. Whenever he decides to switch in, if he switches in his Tauros and his Tauros is defensive, I crit through Intimidate and I still 2 KO him, so that's not really a switch in. He decides to just sack it, which makes sense, because what is he going to do? Is he going to cripple another member of his team? I don't think he wants to do that. Goes back into Kyurem, so I'm like, okay, I just get to go back into Ferrothorn. Easy. Clicks Freeze Dry, does a little bit of health again, completely fine by me. Goes back into Wo-Chien. I take this turn knowing he's going to go back into Wo-Chien to get up a Spike, and the Spikes will prove pretty useful in this game. It gets me good chip on Kyurem, it gets me good chip on this, it gets me good chip on this. He knocks into my Protect, doesn't do anything because I'm protected. I go back into Zapdos, as I can just do for free. And this turn, he swaps out on my Zapdos. I just click Roost because I can afford to click Roost. Keeping health on this is good, so I consistently have a Wo-Chien switch in. So I just do that. It also makes it so that Tauros doesn't get scary in the end game. So him going this, I don't know his item because the Spike doesn't do any damage, and this could easily be Scarf. It could easily be defensive with leftovers. And I don't want to chance him like being Scarf and Volting on me. So I just go into like my perma Ludicolo counter, which I could have just Volt switched in retrospect. I just go to my permanent Rotom counter Ludicolo, take a little bit from the Volt switch. He goes back into Kyurem. Okay, fine. He's taking spike damage now. This is completely fine by me. I just go back into Ferrothorn. This works. I take the Freeze Dry, get frozen on this Freeze Dry. So third Freeze Dry is the charm. I'm just mash and protect at this point because I don't want to get like caught in the little Freeze Dry circus. And thankfully I thaw out on the second turn. Get my Protect, get to heal, thankfully. In retrospect, maybe I could have just Leech Seeded, gotten a little bit of health back like that, but yeah, got my health. Very, very useful. Get up another Spike, because I know he's going to go well now that I am unfrozen. Protect him to see what he wants to do so I can get my lefties back. Now I have 2 layers of Spike up. That makes this in range of Surging Strikes now. That makes this get, like, assuredly in range of close combat if he's some sort of defensive spread. Softens this up so Basculegion can click Shadow Ball, and it makes it so that every time that this is coming back in, it's taking a bunch of damage, which is useful for an endgame where I need this, or I need this, or I need this. So, yeah, I switch back into Zapdos. He Seeds. That's fair. Easy way of getting himself back. I Volt Switch out, and I go into Urshifu because I'm like, he's either going to Ruinate, or he's probably just going to Ruinate, or he's going to Protect. I'm assuming his last move is Protect here. It easily could have been an attacking move. He could have just Giga Drained, but I figured he's not going to do that on Zapdos, and I've already got my item knocked off, so he can just Ruinate for free. So I can go into Urshifu and I can claim my kill with whatever I want. He has switch-ins. Like, if he goes Pult on the CC, then it's fine. If he goes Tauros on the CC, it's also kind of fine for him. Actually, Tauros isn't fine for him because I just get to CC twice if he's not max speed. But yeah, he goes in Tauros. I U-turn out because it's gonna kill the Woe anyways. And now I just get free momentum. Get to go into Pelipper, set my rain back up. And the only thing that this thing can kill me with, I know, is a Wild Charge. So I figure he's got to click Wild Charge this turn. I'm going to go into Zapdos. Hopefully get a Static. Do not get a Static. Very sad. See that he's leftovers. So I know that, and I know that's not banded damage. So I see that he's leftovers. Figure he's a more defensive spread. Figure I'm going to be faster. So I just click my free Hurricane. Get a little bit of chip on this Rotom. Confuse him. And I get to see that the Rotom is leftovers. So I know that this is not Scarf. So I'm like, okay, I don't have much to really worry about. He clicks Hydro on the Zapdos, which is, I guess, fair in rain. It does nothing because I'm max Spadef. But I take this opportunity to get up my third Spike. And now this thing is really struggling every time it comes in. I Protect, stall out my own rain a little bit, but get my lefties back so I can stay a good switch into Kyurem, stay a good switch into this. And I go Pelipper on what I assume is either a knockoff or a Ruination. He Ruinates. And I U-turn, get a crit. So That crit maybe mattered, but probably didn't, because without the crit, I do 21 to 25 max. I ran the calc on max F. So without that crit, next time he switches in on, say, Bastion Legion coming out, if I click Shadow Ball, there's a chance he might live, but it's like really, really slim. I figure the U-turn is fine. He's either, like, Knockoff isn't going to kill me. Ruination definitely isn't going to kill me. And if he's Grass Move, then Grass Move definitely isn't going to kill me. If he Leech Seeds, then that's kind of annoying, because he gets to have his health back. But Zapdos is a fine switch regardless. Knock puts me down to 9. And this turn I have a decision to make. So he's going to switch out, because he knows that I'm faster, and he knows that I kill him with a Hurricane. So is he going to switch? Or if he switches, do I Roost and keep this healthy, or do I Hurricane and just get damage? And I figure no matter what he gets in, like if he brings in Rotom on this, I can get damage on that, and I know that I'm faster, so I can just Volt Switch out if he goes into Rotom. And if it's like Kyurem or Dragapult or Tauros, or this stays in, I can just get free damage with the Hurricane. So I cross my fingers. I'm like, please, please hit this Hurricane. And he goes Pult. Takes so much damage from this Hurricane. If I got the Confuse, then he definitely died. My Zapdos goes down to the Shadow Ball. I figure he's got to be Specs here, and I want to get my Rain up. I know he's locked into Shadow Ball, so I'm just going to go back into Ferrothorn after setting up my Rain. I think this is a free opportunity to get a Rain, so long as he doesn't crit move Shadow Ball or get a Spinef drop. There's an argument for going Pharaoh immediately, but I get chipped. I take too much chip. So I go Pharaoh. Shadow Balls me. Does basically nothing, but gets the Spinef drop, which means that I definitely die to another one. I Protect, and I'm like, okay, I have a turn to think about what I want to do. Is there a Mon that I want to switch into the Shadow Ball? And I'm like, Ludicolo's pretty tanky. I can get this guy in for free, get my kill, click Giga Drain, or click, or I can click Giga Drain and get like tiny little sliver of health on this, get a huge amount of health out of Rotom if it comes in, get a huge amount of health out of Tauros if it comes in. But I'm like, I'll be fine. Just click Weather Ball, because I figure if he goes Kyurem, then it's taking 1,000,000,000%. This is still taking 1,000,000,000%. This is still taking 1,000,000,000%, and this definitely dies. Where it definitely doesn't die to a Giga Drain. And Life Orb would kill me if I did 2 hits. So yeah, take my Life Orb chip. He goes Tauros, which is fair because I'm on 7%. I haven't actually ran the calc on if this is confirmed to kill. It probably isn't Rain, even though I'm a 4x resist. But he just clicks Aqua Jet, kills me pretty easy. Gets his lefty chip, so I know like, okay, this is definitely defensive. He's not gonna be. If he's offensively invested, then if he's max speed, then it's on me, you know. But I know Bastion Legion doesn't have any real switch-ins at this point in the game. If he goes Wo-Chien, he's still dying to a Shadow Ball. And if he goes Rotom, then he's getting 2 KO'd, and that's like really, really valuable chip because I can just sack something, bring back in Pelipper to reset my Rain, and then get the damage. So, goes Wo-Chien, takes 1,000,000,000 from the spikes, and dies to the Shadow Ball. That Shadow Ball always does 15% minimum, so I don't think the crit earlier mattered because it was only a margin of like 10%, but it might have mattered. Probably would just add 1 turn to the battle. Goes Rotom, which is fair. Protects on a possible Shadow Ball, which is really bad for him. Like, if he got damage on this with Hydro, then that was really bad. If he volted on that, it was also really bad. Volt Switch doesn't kill me, but it does a lot. There's like, maybe I should have stayed in on Bastion Legion, because I know Volt doesn't kill me. I know he's leftovers. But I figure preserving the health on this is kind of important. He Wisped me, which counteracts my leftovers, which is kind of annoying. I get my Seed, which gives me a little bit of chip on this, gets me my health back, which is useful. I'm back up to 63. He goes Tauros, takes 1,000,000,000%. I knock off his lefties. I wanted to knock that, but I probably should have just Seed again. If he went Kyurem on this, then the knock would have been great, because then he has no more Scarf. Spoilers, Choice Scarf. But I Protect on this, just scout out what it wants to do, try to get in his head with him thinking I'm going to double. I switch out into Pelipper, figuring there's no way he Wild Charges. If he Wild Charges, he's insane. CC does not enough to me. And I'm like, okay, I can bring this back in on a Wild Charge, or I can bring this in on a Wild Charge and it doesn't die. He Wave Crashes, which is fine. maybe I should have just gone Ferrothorn, but if he CC'd into this, then it would have been bad. I figure if he water moves or if he CC's, it's not killing my Basculegion, and I can just click Shadow Ball. Which he jets, gets his little damage. That's fine. I'm at 23%. 23% versus 43% doesn't matter. Get my kill with Shadow Ball. He brings in Rotom. I know he won't die. I stay in because I'm like, if I get damage on this, then Urshifu definitely wins. Because Shifu's faster than this and kills it with close combat. Like, max Fizdef does 67 to 73, I want to say. So if I just get my Shadow Ball damage, drop him down to like half, then he definitely dies. And I figure I'm faster than everything on this except for Scarf. Because the idea of Scarf hadn't crossed my mind at that point because I was mocking against Specs like almost entirely. Click Shadow Ball. Get my damage. He kills me with Volt Switch. That's fine. And he goes into his Kyurem. Gets his chip on the Kyurem. That's fine. And I have a decision to make. I'm like, okay, I can just end the game with Shifu right now by clicking Close Combat because I'm 319 speed. That's faster than 317 speed. But I make the correct play, which I would have lost the game if I didn't make the correct play here. I go into Ferrothorn first. So I know I'm not going to die to a Focus Blast. He actually, if he was max rolled, then he kills me with that. On the Focus Blast, like literally 1000% max roll. But I need to knock this thing's item off, and then I can click Close Combat, which I do on this turn. So sack my Pharaoh to knock off his Scarf, which game's over from this point. I just sack my Ferrothorn. He freeze dries me, and then I go into Urshifu, and I get to click CC twice, and I win the game. So yeah, that's week 2. Funny thing here, he doesn't know about Unseen Fist. My fist is not seen. It goes right through that bullshit. So yeah, that's the game. 2-0 victory. Could have been better, could have been worse. A little bit of sloppy play, particularly around the Wo-Chien and a little bit around the Kyurem. There are some swaps I could have done that might have been a little better, but ultimately it didn't matter because I killed the things that stopped my Shifu from winning, and Shifu just won. So yeah, that's the game. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys next week for a match that I do not know what it is, but I'm probably going to win because I'm the GOAT. Adios.